Good morning, happy Saturday, happy weekend, folks. I wonder how you are today. Let me know how you're feeling, what's going on for you emotionally, physically, spiritually, and intellectually. Have you got lots of thoughts running around your head? Are you wondering how you're going to manage with juggling your responsibilities? Perhaps you are a parent, perhaps you've got work to do, perhaps you need to rest. Perhaps you've got loads of stuff that you need to juggle today and throughout Easter, because for some of us it is now officially the Easter holidays. So chocolate eggs all round, vegan, of course, for me anyway. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we regulate our children's emotions, which could be useful, I hope, to some folk as we go into this Easter period and the coronavirus. Anxieties, uncertainty and fear and stress and anger is still very much present, I think, for a lot of people. So hopefully some useful tips to help you regulating your children's emotions and help them to regulate their own emotions. So I'll do that shortly. I need to let you know that today, 3 o'clock, we've got a super sub coming in. Grania can no longer make it today, so she's going to come in to talk about her work in addiction, trauma therapy and psychotherapeutic interventions, hopefully later this month. So we've got the super sub, a bit like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, coming on and scoring the winner. Rachel Warren, who is a reflexologist, massage therapist, and is training to be a energy and spiritual healer. So she's going to come in at 3 o'clock. So thank you, Rachel, much appreciated. Should be a really interesting discussion. And she's also going to talk about her own mental health experiences and also will lead a meditation at the end of the session, I believe. So looking forward to that, 3 o'clock this afternoon. In the meantime, I want to share a couple of things. So first of all, I want to share a song to set us off on this Saturday morning. So just thinking about creativity and how this virus situation, the lockdown situation, is really enabling a lot of creativity, I believe. It is inspiring a lot of people to find creative ways of working, creative ways of being, creative ways of sharing and connecting. And these guys that I know from my local music scene called Freeda. They're a cracking young band with lots of great tunes. And it's a shame, you know, they were going to do a big show at the Ritz in Manchester with Jordan Allen, but it's going to be rescheduled for later in the year, so that's good. They have found a way of collaborating and putting out one of their tunes using creativity, even though they're all in different rooms. So check this out, top tune, and hope you enjoy it. This is Young by Freeda.
Step away a second, I wanna let you know. You gotta know the feelings, you gotta let it go. 'Cause I'm afraid you like it when it hurts and it's worse. Always when the bubble starts to burst, it's worse. Take my hand, I'll walk you home when the night gets cold. Feeling shall let it be just for you and me, just for you and me. Feeling I know you got a way to go, we never did get so let it grow. Before we never was for sure if there ever was secure do we grow. I'm afraid you like it when it hurts and it's worse. Always when the bubble starts to burst, it's Take my hand, I'll walk you home when the night gets cold. Feeling child, let it be just for you and me, just for you and me. Feeling, take my hand, I'll walk you home when the night gets cold. Feeling, child, let it be just for you and me, just for you and me. Baby, take my hand, I'll walk you home when the night gets cold. Shall it be just for you and me, just for you and me? We're feeling young, we're feeling young, we're feeling young. Take my hand, I'll walk you home when the night gets cold. Feeling, child, let it be just for you and me, just for you and me. Feeling, take my hand, I'll walk you home when the night gets cold. Feeling, child, let it be just for you and me, just for you and me.
Marvellous. So thank you, Freeda, Freeda. Check them out wherever you get your music, folks. Thanks for keeping us entertained during this lockdown, even though you're locked down yourselves. And thanks for the permission for sharing your lovely music. Wonderful. So, why am I doing this? A couple of people have asked me this week, why are you doing this, Paul? So, a story from a friend of mine really brought this to the front of my mind yesterday. I was chatting to an old school chum, and he told me that his niece, I'm pretty sure it was his niece, had taken her own life this week because of the isolation imposed by this coronavirus crisis. So her support system had been taken away, or the support was unable to reach her, and very tragically, she has taken her own life. So, you know, clearly very tragic. A young lady who couldn't face the isolation. So that is the case for many people. I think it's a struggle, this situation that we find ourselves in, and you know, I'm just trying to do what I can here to support folk and humbly offer what I have got, the skills that I've got, and also the connections that I've got. And I'm really grateful to all the guests who are coming on to share their experience and expertise. I'm really grateful to you guys for being here. And if, you know, all this effort just supports one person through this crisis and stops what happened to my friend's niece, then it's all worth it, definitely. So do please share the link to the group. I shall flash it up on the screen. Oh, there's Freeda. Forgot to put that on, sorry. So yeah, share the link to the group and let's get as many people in here as we can, especially those who are feeling isolated, people who are struggling, people perhaps who have mental health issues already or are feeling particularly vulnerable. If you know anyone in your network who you think could benefit from being here, please send that link to them. I'd rather you didn't just invite your whole Facebook buddies because I then get inundated with requests from people that I don't know whether they want to be here or not. So if there's some people that you definitely know could benefit, then by all means invite them along. But it would help me, if you don't mind, if you just share that group. Let's get this support out there to as many people as we can and try and prevent any more tragedies of people taking their own lives and trying to suffer through this isolation alone. Okay, so if you'd like to know more about me, then I'm going to post up a podcast episode that I did on Talk About It, Mate, with Mike Richard, who runs men's and all human beings peer support groups. He's going to be our guest tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So I thought I would post up the episode that I did on his podcast, so you can, if you're interested, have a listen, find out a bit more about me, what I do, the journey that brought me here, and why I do what I do. So that'll be going up on the site very shortly. So the last thing I want to say before closing is around helping children to self-regulate. As I said, it's Easter now where I am, Easter holidays. So all the homeworking stuff that your children, if you have them, may well have been trying to navigate over the past couple of weeks, maybe continuing, maybe pausing. So there may be some challenges for you around how you juggle all your responsibilities. If you're a working parent in particular, or if you've just got children at home and trying to keep them entertained, trying to be super dad or super mum. All sorts of emotions running around. They're not connected to their buddies every day at school. So it's tricky. It's a tricky situation for them. Somebody asked me a question about this the other day. So what I would suggest is, if your children are expressing emotions, which may be, you may deem them to be healthy or unhealthy. They might be having tantrums. They might be getting really angry, fighting with their siblings. They might be just tearful, fearful, up, down, all sorts of stuff might be happening, and that's okay. That is a normal response to this very abnormal situation that we find ourselves in. So what I would suggest you do is take a leaf out of Simon's book from yesterday. If you watched the mindfulness session that we had with Simon last night, feel free to watch it back. Great meditation at the end. Is to be fully present. So be present to your children, really connect with them, get down to their level, eye contact, physical contact if appropriate, and really validate their feelings. So whatever they're feeling is normal, okay? And what we can do as adults to calm them down is not say, hush, 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 it'll be okay. Don't cry, don't shout. We want to validate those feelings and say, I understand you. It seems like you are feeling upset, angry, tearful, anxious. Reflect back to them, give them the language so they can name their emotions. And if they're up here, we need to remain down here, nice and calm. So we're not trying to disavow, push away their emotions. We want to check in with their emotions, validate them, but we want to stay really calm, because calmness, as we said last night with Simon, is infectious. And the opposite of calmness, the emotional dysregulation, is also infectious. So if they're up here and we get up here as well, they're going to go even higher. We need to be down here and bring them down with us. Okay, so calmness, validating their emotions. What else? Just going easy, compassion, go easy on them. Don't have too many expectations around the behavior. Might not be as it normally is. They might be up and down. There might be tearful periods. There might be tantrums. Just allow it, okay? Just go a little bit easy, give them a bit of slack, have some compassion for the situation they find themselves in. And also have some compassion for yourself, okay? You can't be the 100% perfect parent all the time. You can't be 100% present with your children all the time. You might have a lot of work to do over the Easter holidays and beyond, and you've got to set some boundaries and say, look, okay, I need to concentrate on my work at the moment. In 1 hour or 10 minutes or whatever it is, I can come and give you 100% of my concentration. In the meantime, I need you to go and play with your brother, or go and read your book, or whatever it is. Get out in the garden and bounce a ball around. So what else? Yeah, I wonder if I can share my screen here. For those who are relatively new to the group, oh yes, I can share. There we go. I put together this resource called Successfully Navigating Homeworking. which is supposed to be a holistic resource to help you successfully navigate home working. But it isn't just about working at home, it's about how you parent, it's about how you look after your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, your emotional health, and that of the people around you as well, especially if you have children. So this is free to download. Donations very welcome, of course. A lot of effort did go into this, but it was a labour of love. So it's got lots of information here. I'll probably go through this on a kind of podcasty type way, doing one section per episode. But today, we've got Get Up Set Up, we've got physical health, we've got establishing a routine, we've got productivity, staying connected. And this is the one I want to look at today. So not just engaging the children, but like we say here, fostering loving, trusting relationships, being open and genuinely taking an active interest in their well-being. Okay, so there's some stuff here around emotional regulation. So the first one I think is probably relevant is this one here. So monitoring your children's well-being frequently. Maintain a sensitive dialogue and encourage them to speak openly about their feelings. That's what I was saying about getting them to name their feelings. If they haven't got the vocabulary to do so, then perhaps you can suggest it seems like you're feeling really distressed and upset at the moment. Maybe there's some anxiety, you're worrying about the future, you're worrying about your gran and granddad, and help them to have that vocabulary to talk openly about their feelings. And modeling that yourself, if you can share what you're feeling in a age-appropriate way and in a way that isn't going to overwhelm your children by saying, "Oh, I'm panicking, I'm worried about everything," just calmly explaining what your emotions are, that will then model to them good behavior around how to express their own emotions. So yeah, that will help them become more emotionally literate, recognize, name, and understand their feelings. It also helps to build emotional resilience. So the more we can acknowledge and accept our feelings and talk about them, the stronger we get at actually being able to navigate them. An example of this is, I suppose we could say, for each one of us who are still here on this earth, we can say that 100% of the challenges we have faced to date have not killed us. We have got through them and we're still here. So we have built that resilience from all of our experiences. We might label them as negative or challenging experiences, but every single one that we navigate our way through, builds our resilience and enables us to cope better with those challenges that are to come in the future. So although this crisis now is unprecedented, none of us have gone through anything like this before, it is building our resilience. So this is an opportunity to grow. And it's the same for your kids, if you've got children or nieces, nephews, anyone you look after, grandchildren, navigating our way through this crisis with them is going to help them build their resilience. The other thing it's going to do is build a strong bond of trust in your relationship with them. So this is a really good opportunity to get a compassionate, loving, present relationship with the young ones in your life. So I hope you're able to take that opportunity and try and juggle all those things you've got going on in your life and try and take some time to be really present with your kids, build that relationship with them. Okay, so next point is around children possibly getting bored. So once the novelty of working from home and homeschooling is worn off, they might get bored. So with boredom sometimes comes challenging behavior and they start testing boundaries. So again, just try and be compassionate, try and understand how difficult the situation is for them, build some empathy, imagine how you might have felt as a 6-year-old, 10-year-old, or however old your children are, if you were finding yourself in this situation. If you can put yourself in their position, maybe we can be a little bit more empathetic, a bit more compassionate. Next point here, behind every behavior, there is a need. Okay, this is a mantra that I try and remember all of the time when I'm met with any challenging behavior. So try and understand when you're seeing some challenging behavior, tantrums, shouting, tears, whatever it is, there is a need beneath that. Okay, so quite often it's a need for attention. Quite often it's an expression of fear, and they're not feeling safe. So again, if we're able to help them express what they are feeling, what their needs are, and try and go underneath that behavior, find out, okay, what's this really about? Open up the dialogue, gets you closer again, gets them more emotionally connected, builds up their emotional maturity and resilience and trust. And again, if you can use your experience as a parent and a child, put yourself in their position. Okay. What I said earlier about validating emotions, I've got this little acronym of VEPS. VEPS. So validate your children's feelings. I understand you are feeling fearful and anxious at the moment, or whatever it is. The E is expressing empathy and compassion for their difficulties. So empathy is putting yourself in their position, saying that's a really tough place to be. I totally understand. I'm there with you. And compassion is going one step further and saying, I want to help you. I'm here. I understand. I want to help. I'm here to support you. P is to praise them for their efforts. So even little things, if they've managed to, if you've got a very young child and they've managed to entertain themselves for 10, 15 minutes without interrupting you whilst you're busy doing your work, praise them for that. If they've completed a piece of homework and put a lot of effort into it, they've done their best, praise them for that. If they've shown some really good relationship skills with their siblings, praise them for that. Notice it and go to them, again, get down on their level, eye contact, show them that you really appreciate the things that they're doing, the effort that they're making. It helps them to feel good about themselves, and it helps to embed that positive behavior. So rather than the stick of, you're doing that, that's naughty, bang, 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 do the carrot method, I prefer. Not as a kind of, I'm going to give you a treat, I will give you a Mars bar if you do 10 minutes of work without disturbing me. It's more of offering that quality of presence and that appreciation and gratitude. Thank you for spending the last hour playing beautifully with your sister. That was great, really appreciate it. You're such a wonderful brother, such a wonderful son. Thank you very much for doing all you're doing in these difficult situations. Lovely. And then the final one of VEPS is S, which is supporting them towards getting their needs met whilst maintaining healthy boundaries. So it isn't about giving in. If you find out what their needs are, and it might be need for attention, it's not about giving them exactly what they want all the time. That's how boundaries get blurred. Children can become spoilt and we become people pleasers and we don't get to do the things that we need to do. So maintain those healthy boundaries and support them, empower them to get their needs met. It might not be from you. It might be that you empower them to find another way to get their needs met. So they could get some attention by having a video call with their granddad, for example. They could go and phone one of their friends. They could play with their sibling. They could perhaps go to their other parents or find ways themselves of meeting their own needs on their own. That again will build resilience, build independence and creativity in their play, and allow them to develop strategies to manage themselves without having to rely on other people all the time. So yeah, that's a similar kind of point there. Finding their own resources to entertain themselves. So the other thing I would say, I won't go into this in detail because I could do a whole session on this, but nonviolent communication is a wonderful tool. This comes from Byram Katie. She's got loads of resources on her website, downloadable for free. There's videos on there of how to do this. In a nutshell, what it is if there's some kind of relational clash, some conflict in a relationship, either between adults and adults, children and children, or adults and children, then if you're using nonviolent communication, what you need to do is remain calm and state to the other person how you are feeling. So there's no judgment involved. It's not, you have made me feel this. There's no criticism. There's no blame. It's just a case of, I'll give you an example. Okay, so if someone's been, let's say your child has been having a tantrum and really they're after your attention, but they're throwing the toys out the pram, they're shouting, screaming, crying, and they want their own way, but you've told them you need to spend an hour at the computer doing some work. So what you can say to that child in an age-appropriate manner is something like, I understand your need for attention. However, at the moment, your behavior is making me feel anxious, frustrated, annoyed, because I need to spend some time on this work. And I can come back to you in an hour's time as we agreed. Sorry for the bleep. And then the other party then has to reflect back what they've heard without feeling any blame or judgment or criticism. So the child might say, okay, I understand that you're feeling frustrated and angry at the moment. And then it's a kind of two-way conversation, and the person who is expressing their feelings needs to say what their needs are, so what they've observed, what their feelings are, what their needs are, and then to make a request at the end. So the request might be, I need you to spend another half hour entertaining yourself whilst I get on with this, please. So yeah, we'll perhaps go into this in more detail. I feel like I haven't explained it very well there. I shall prepare more and do a whole session on this if it's of interest to you. Alternatively, have a look at thework.com, Byron Katie, lots of stuff on there to download. Lovely. Okay, so the last thing I think is just about fostering positive relationships. So again, specifically, we're talking about children showing appreciation, offering praise, as we've said, rewarding efforts with words rather than tokens. Remember that children are not a distraction. Okay. I feel like breaking into song. I believe the children are the future. I'm going to stop that. Okay, so children are not a distraction. They're just another priority that you have to try and juggle in this very challenging situation. So yeah, go easy. Be kind whenever possible. It's always possible. I think that's the Dalai Lama who said that. There's a book recommendation there, Milton's Secret. It's by Eckhart Tolle, if that's how you say his name. The Power of Now guy. It's basically the Power of Now for kids. Great book for, I would say, ages 4 to 11-ish. That's great about emotional regulation, being present, being mindful. And yeah, just to reiterate, compassion for your children, compassion for yourself. You are not super mum. You are not super dad. You're just doing the best that you can. So forgive yourself, and your children are not super children. Well, they are super children. We're all super, but none of us are perfect. Okay, so just go easy, be compassionate, and yeah, if you've got any questions, you want any more detail on any of that stuff, let me know. I'll probably go into that nonviolent communication another time in more detail. But yes, I hope you have a lovely Saturday. Do join us at 3 o'clock, where Super Sub, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, oh no, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Rachel Warren is going to come in and talk to us about energy and spiritual healing. She's a reflexologist and massage therapist. I really would like a massage right now, but no, it's not going to happen. So yeah, join us for that. She's also going to talk about her experiences of mental health. So some, hopefully some inspiring stories there to help you, not to help you, to inform you, which might resonate with some of the stuff that you struggle with in your life as well. So I think that's all. Enjoy your Saturday. Hopefully see you at 3 o'clock. Thank you and goodbye. Oh, and keep spreading this. Yeah, just remember, if you missed the beginning of the webcast, is this a webcast? Webinar? I don't know. My friend's niece took her own life this week because of the isolation. So hopefully what I'm doing here, what we are doing here, this community we are building, can help at least one person, if not many, to navigate through this really tricky period. So share this group, share the link amongst your whole network, invite people in if you're confident that they want to be here, and let's support each other, get the message out there. Okay, folks, stay safe, stay mindful, stay compassionate, stay connected. Have a great Saturday. Hopefully see you at 3 o'clock. Toodaloo.